सर हमें हैकिंग के लिए वीपीएन की जरूरत पड़ती है?
जरूरी नहीं है मगर पड़ती है. I'll just explain you थोड़ी देर में. So yeah,
ओके सर.
if you go on answering it out, it will become a debatable issue. We are not art student, we are science students. So we should do something with experiments, something with demonstration. Then we should like put our logical conclusion. So yes, the answer is everything and anything is hackable. How do I say that? We shall do a small demonstration. So let's go to your browser. Once you go to your browser, go to your website called cvedetails.com. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
it
sir.
is.
Yes, sir.
This is a
Doing
website,
this
this is a benchmark site to test any kind of product whichever is being used in the IT technology. So just go to this website. At the left hand side corner, you have a column called product search. Just click on that. Once you click on that, you'll get a search bar. So you click here or type here any product, whichever you use it in your daily life, whichever you want to see whether it is hackable or not. So here, let's try with Windows 10, since most of us use it. When you click on Windows 10, as you can see here, it shows the list of vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are nothing but the list of ways it can be hacked. So once you click on that, you get 1111 vulnerabilities, which means that today there are 1111 vulnerabilities to hack Windows 10 operating system. You can check to any operating system also. Click on that 1111 number, you will get the list of ways it can be hacked, where and all it was hacked, what was the impact of it also. So this is an proof of concept to say that hack anything is hackable. You take any product, you can see here, we can come to a conclusion saying that anything is hackable. So just go and type even Android also in the product search column, you'll get the list of vulnerabilities. Instead of Windows 10, type Android. Once you click on Android, you'll get the list of vulnerabilities as shown in the screen. You can see there as 2562 vulnerabilities, which means Android operating system can be hacked in more than 2000 ways on a present date, on present current scenario. So this is the proof to say that anything is hackable. So any product you take, you can just put it in this product search column and you can check out the results. So this is the reason I asked why everything is hackable, or is everything hackable? So now we know everything is hackable. So the next question is, what exactly is hacking and how it has been considered? So hacking has lot of misconceptions and conceptions. As shown in the screen, first we shall look into the misconceptions, then we shall arrive at conceptions. So the misconceptions are nothing but the list of definitions which you people mentioned when I asked what is hacking, like breaking passwords, stealing credentials, unauthorized access. These are just a part of hacking, but not the actual hacking. So actual hacking is nothing but coding, scripting, and manipulating. All of you know what is coding. Can anyone tell me what is scripting? Am I audible?
So copying format from one place to another.
No, that is known as copying itself. I'm asking you what is scripting?
प्रेजेंट करने का एक तरीका.
नहीं
Changing the
नहीं
changing the
नहीं 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 मैं
changing the
मैं मूवी
source
वाला
code.
का स्क्रिप्टिंग नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ.
Automating something using code.
Yes, building something using
Automating some actions.
no, that is itself, that is nothing but a coding itself.
Okay.
To transform some code into something that a normal person can't read.
No, that is encryption.
So to execute something which is permanent.
To alter the code.
No.
To provide a structure. to the code.
To program the shell of
Writing how the code is to be executed.
That is itself coding, right?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
so phasing the attack.
Not exactly.
Sir.
Okay, I'll tell you what exactly is
Decoding the code.
No, that is decrypting again. I'll tell you what exactly is scripting. See, coding is nothing but, for example, if you are writing a program for addition, so the logic will be C equals to A plus B. So that is nothing but programming or coding. Now, what exactly is scripting is, you have same like addition program itself, you have for a code for subtraction, a code for multiplication, a code for division. C equals to A minus B, C equals to A into B, and C equals to A divided by B. So if you want to automate all this and make a calculator program, that is known as scripting. Scripting means automating multiple programs by a single line of code. So you need everyone, first thing is you have to know programming. Programming again in standards, not in traditional ways. After learning programming in standards, then you have to be expert in scripting. What do you mean by scripting? Automating multiple programs with a single line of code. If you do that, there comes the concept of interpreter. Programming is compiler. So interpreter is line to line. Compiler is not line to line. So that's the difference between coding and scripting. Any doubts on this?
So please explain scripting once again. I'm not able to understand exactly.
Okay. See, coding is nothing but it does only one task. For example, an addition. C equals to A plus B. So you write a whole program, hash include stdio.h in C, etc., etc., etc. Then you write the logic. C equals to A plus B. Then you end the file. You put a loop or whatever you want with as per logic. It does only addition. So that is nothing but programming. So scripting means you have multiple programs like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You have to automate it with one line of command. That is nothing but called scripting. Clear with it?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
So this is one of the definition for hacking. That is coding, scripting, and then manipulating. Once you know scripting, you can easily manipulate the whole code. So the misconceptions are breaking passwords, stealing credentials, unauthorized access, whichever definitions, whichever you read it over your internet, blog, books, workshops, anything. That is just a part of hacking, not exactly hacking. So now you know what is hacking, everything is hackable or not. Now answer the question, is everything hackable? Or why everything is hackable? Now you know the answer for the question, yes, everything is hackable. Why?
Because
everything
there
is
are
hackable?
vulnerabilities.
Have you seen that? Again, I'm asking you, when we are engineers, when we say we are hackers or anything, we should do some experiment and we should be having proof of concept. Now tell me, how many of you feel that why hacking is possible? Or why
I have
everything
seen this.
can be
Sir,
hacked?
because hacking is coding and someone who knows coding perfectly can change it.
Then why are these multinational companies paying like high salary to those people?
Sir, can we see
तो
that
रहेंगे ना सर, लूप होल्स को ढूंढ के फिर आप हैक कर सकते हो, बिना लूप होल्स को ढूंढे थोड़ा हैक कर सकते
In
हो.
order to counter the hackers, we have to think like them.
Yeah, that
Sir,
is about solutions. But I'm asking you why it is possible. Why can't what are company people doing? Like MNCs, like Facebook, Google and all, they're paying high salaried job, but still why hacking is possible?
They are
Sir, can we-
keeping hackers so that they can tell where are the loopholes and they can improve upon it.
Yeah, then when they're telling where and all they can improve, they will definitely improve it. But still they are unable to do it. Why?
Sir, can we think it in a way that every program has an input
No
output?
code is flawless.
Sir, because there are thousands of vulnerabilities and the
There may be
attacker needs
drawbacks
only
in
one.
every computer.
Yeah, there are thousands of vulnerabilities. I'm asking you, is it impossible to create a product without vulnerabilities?
We cannot solve all the
I think
problems
not,
at
sir.
the
It's
same
not
time.
possible to create a product without vulnerabilities.
Because everything is on internet.
It is
Why?
impossible
Why?
to
So
create.
everything, whatever is in internet, it is hackable. That is sure. We got the answer. But I'm asking you why? What is such a vulnerability that you cannot close the vulnerabilities? Okay,
So
we shall
there
come
is
into
no way
that
to
with a
stop us from
demonstration.
manipulating your
We'll
code.
do a demonstration.
Human
You'll
error.
get to know it. You
Sir,
will.
sir, every program present on the internet has some access to some network, and it will take input and out and give some output, etc. So when we give, we will if a product is without the vulnerabilities, then we can create vulnerability in the program by giving some input, etc.
Yeah, you can create, but you will not have access at the beginning, right? Before how, but somehow you make an access. But how do you make an access? Why is it possible?
Sir,
I'm
is
asking.
it that
I'll
is
give you
it
an
that
answer by the
solving with
demonstration.
one?
Sir,
You
every
will-
every program uh, which every program gives access to some of the particular some of particular networks in it. So when we create
No,
a
that is not so. I'll just we shall look into a demonstration. You'll get a clear idea why everything is hackable. So before that, first we shall look into one more concept of types of hacking. So once you know types of hacking, then I'll come back to the question with a demonstration to say that why everything is hackable. So there is something called types of hackers. You might have heard about it. There are three types of hackers called black hat hackers, white hat hackers, and gray hat hackers. So now, what do you mean by black hat hackers? Black hat hackers are the ones, whichever definitions which you people mentioned. For example, breaking passwords, stealing credentials, unauthorized access, all the illegal stuffs. For example, it is the Julian Assange as shown in the picture, the person who revealed the Pentagon secrets, the WikiLeaks founder. So that is black hat hacking. So that is first type of hacking. There is second type of hackers called white hat hackers who do it for legal purpose, for protecting from hacking. If there is a ransomware attack, how to protect it out. If there is a Facebook account hacked, how to regain it. Usually who work with the police department, who work with the law enforcement agencies. So those are known as white hat hackers. So who is the best white hat hacker? As shown in the picture, it is Linus Torvalds, the founder of Linux. Now there is a third category of people known as gray hat hackers. They are nothing but the combination of black and white. So who can do both the stuffs, legal as well as illegal, depending on the circumstances. They are known as gray hat hackers. So now there is another set of people known as script kiddies. Script kiddies are nothing but the people who don't know any programming, any coding, but they just make use of the softwares which are available over internet and do hacking. For example, if there is an app, they download the app and they do some hacking. So that is nothing but script kiddies. So script kiddies, they don't know even a single line of code. But whereas black hat, white hat, and gray hat hackers, they do their own programming, they do their own coding. But script kiddies, they don't even write a single line of code. They just make use of the softwares which are available over the internet. Can anyone tell me the advantage of being a script kiddie and the biggest disadvantage of being a script kiddie?
The task
Sir,
is
you
less
can't
tedious
manipulate.
for script kiddies. It could be an
Right.
advantage that it's quick and less tedious.
Correct. Yes, that is an advantage because you don't have any effort at all. You can just take the software and use it out. What is a
We
disadvantage?
can use unconventional methods.
Sir, we are using
He can only
disadvantage
be
is
able to
that
hack
they
the
cannot.
things.
One by one.
He can only be able to hack the things that are available on the software. Like if the software can hack the
That is a
particular thing,
disadvantage.
then only he can hack.
Exactly. That is a disadvantage.
So the script kiddie
because
could
it
hack
has-
anything which was hacked before only.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
सर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टीम कैसे हैक हो सकती है?
बताता हूँ, आप डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन देख लीजिए थोड़ी देर में.
Sir, manipulation is not possible for script kiddies.
Yes, exactly. Manipulation is not possible. What do you mean by that? It means if you use any like software, viruses or anything, if there is an antivirus coming into picture, it will detect it out. You will not be able to prevent it or bypass it. But if you are a real programmer and coder, you can debug it, you can find the bug and you can improvise it. So that is the difference between script kiddie and a normal hacker. So in order to be a hacker, you should be an expert script kiddie first. You should make use of, you should know how to use all the softwares which are present. Then you should go into black hat or any white hat or gray hat scenario. So now you know what exactly is hacking. Everything is hackable. Types of
Sir,
hackers also. Now
sir,
answer me the question.
Sir, one question.
Yes.
Sir, when the person using Kali Linux for the hacking or counting the script kiddie.
Okay. Yes, Kali Linux again, it's a script kiddie itself because you are writing, you are making use of the tools. You are not using your own tool, right? The tool can do only limited functions. If you want to do some
So, sir,
extra functions, you can do anything.
So hacking is possible with.
So am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
you
sir.
you are audible.
Yes, sir.
I
Is
guess
hacking
the
is-
person who had that question. Yes, Pulkit, you can ask it.
Sir, is hacking is possible without using Kali Linux directly by the Windows by using the command prompt?
Yes, it depends. If you write your own code, you can do even C programming code we call shell scripting. Without Kali Linux also you can do it. So Kali
Also,
Linux is not the necessary or mandatory thing for hacking. Without that also you can do. That is what hackers do. Kali Linux is nothing but another one level of script kiddie itself. But not the total script kiddie. There are even you can do different type of coding in Kali Linux also. I'll explain you that. So now that's what I'll tell you what exactly we shall do one demonstration of what exactly is script kiddie, what exactly is hacking. So first we shall look into a demonstration of script kiddie part. For example, let's see a demonstration of how to hack Windows operating system. Can you see over my screen that there is a Windows operating system which is asking for a password?
Yes, sir.
yes,
So
sir.
now
Yes.
I'll enter
Yes,
the
sir.
password. I don't know what exactly is the right password. So whatever I enter, it is taking it as the wrong password. So in such a case, now I can hack the system in two ways. One is by script kiddie way, that is by making use of the readily available softwares. Or one more way is I can directly do coding and bypass it. But first we shall look into script kiddie way. Now script kiddie way is nothing but I have to have a ready-made software in a pen drive, insert it to the system, restart it. Once I restart it, automatically it will be bypassed. So now which is the readily available software? The readily available software as shown in the screen is Konboot, Konboot. Once you click on Konboot, click on the installation part. You can install it to CD, you can install it to USB as shown in the screen. So in our case, we are installing it into CD. If you are using USB, you should check the path also. Put it in the CD, put your CD back and restart your system. So once you restart your system, you should go to the boot menu option. What do you mean by boot menu option? It's nothing but the F12, F10 or escape, depending on the laptop manufacturers. For example, Dell uses F12, whereas HP uses escape. So similarly, while restarting it out, restart it with the boot option. Once you restart it with the boot option, you'll get an option as shown in the screen. Let us wait. As you can see, it is asking for boot options. It is asking whether you can boot it with the removable device, the hard drive, the CD-ROM. So in our case, it is CD. If it is in your case, it would be USB if you are using a pen drive. So click on CD-ROM. So once you click on it, Konboot will be loaded as shown in the screen. So once this is loaded, your password is bypassed. This is a script kiddie way. You have not even written a single line of code here. You are just making use of the readily available software. So once you use this, now whatever you enter the password, it will take it as the password. Let's try whether it works. Let us see whether it works or not. So it is just loading. So Let's
It
try
will
now.
change the
I will not
password
enter
permanently.
any. Yes.
Will it change the password permanently or only for that time?
Sorry, yeah, this is only the particularly this time, that is only when the CD is present or when the USB is present, not permanent. So now I will not even enter the password. I'll just click enter. So it will take it as the password. The password is bypassed. So this is nothing but a hacking Windows operating system in a script kiddie way. That is readily available software. Now, there is another, if you have to be a hacker, this will not work. If there is a strong antivirus, it will automatically block this particular software from running. So in that case, you have to bypass it. How do you bypass it? You should write your own programming. Similarly, I'll give you another demonstration now of hacking Linux operating systems. Because when you are hacking Linux operating system, if you don't know the password, you cannot use any software. There is no softwares which are readily available. You have to do coding. You have to ask the system itself, give me the username and password which you have stored it in your memory. For that, you have to know coding. Coding is nothing but communication. If I speak to you in English, you can understand. But if I speak in Spanish, will you understand? No. Similarly, the computer operating system also. It will not understand whatever the language you ask. You should ask in its own language, and that is known as coding scripting. So let's load the Linux operating system. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Great. So as you can see, there is a login. Now I don't know what is the password. Whatever I enter the password, it is taking as the wrong password. So now I don't have any ready-made softwares available. So I have to be a hacker. That's nothing but I have to do something. I should write my own code or program. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to go to single user root mode. How do you go to single user root mode? Restart your Linux operating system and enter shift button simultaneously. So once you enter shift button simultaneously, you will get an option as shown in the screen. Now go to the option advanced mode as shown in the screen. Once you go to advanced mode, then you'll get other set of options. In that you choose recovery mode. Once you go to recovery mode, you'll get an option for going to root access. So let's wait. It will take some couple of seconds. So as you can see here, you have got the root access now. Click on that. So now you have to write single line of code where it can bypass it. So the line of code is nothing but sudo space password space the username. In our case, the username is cold coffee. Click on that. So it is asking me to enter a new password. So I'm entering a new password. That is 123. Since it is a command line interface, it will not be visible. I'm re-entering the password. Once I click on it, I'm getting an error saying that there is an authentication token manipulation error. So this is nothing but a bug. So now if I am a good hacker, I have to know programming, coding, then I can debug it. If I'm a script kiddie, I can't do these things using a ready-made software. So what do I do now? I have a process called mounting and remounting with another line of command. So let me enter that command. Mount space -o space rw comma remount space slash. Click enter. So now the mounting and remounting is being done. Now I will enter the same line of code, that is sudo password cold coffee, enter. So now I'll re-enter the password, that is 123. I'll again confirm it and click enter. See, as you can see, the password is updated successfully. So this is how I hacked the Linux operating system. Now I'll restart it and check whether this password works or not. So it may take some couple of time to load since it's an Ubuntu. So as you can see, it has been loaded. Now I'll enter the password 123. Let's see whether it works. So as you can see, I have logged in to the operating system. So this is the way of logging into Linux operating system by hacking it through the hacker's way, not script kiddie way. Windows operating system demonstration was a script kiddie way. So I hope you have got a clear clarification on what is script kiddie and what is the hacker's way. Any doubts on it? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. You are
Sir,
audible.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes, sir. Please, you can ask.
Sir, that Windows hacking one,
Yes.
it is only possible on means when we are not logged in with account now.
There are multiple ways. Not logged in account. If it is even for Windows 7 also, you can do it out. Not
Yes,
necessarily you should have.
I mean,
You're asking
I
whether
mean,
you are logged in via Microsoft account or not. That is what you're asking, right?
if I have logged in with Microsoft account, then it would be not possible, no?
No, not through this particular software. That is Conboot. There is another software called PC Unlocker. Through that, you can do it out. Now, here in Windows 8, it was logged in through Microsoft account itself.
Okay.
So it is possible. So
Sir,
it's
I have a
not one or
question.
two ways. If you go to that's what CV details, like this itself, this was one of the ways in 1,000 ways. So there are 1,000 ways like this where you can hack it out.
Like that through the CMD.
Yes, CMD also it can be done.
But it can't be done on account now. Means it can be done locally only now.
That's what you can go to shell scripting and do it out. That is nothing but again, if you go to grub option, you can do it out. There is not one or two, there is multiple and numerous ways. But there is no ready-made softwares which can do it to all scenarios. That is the drawback in script kiddies.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in this process, our data will be remain same or it may be changed?
Depends on which software you use it, but in this software that is Conboot, nothing will happen. The data will remain as it is. Yes. Okay. Now we have seen the difference between script kiddie and the real hacker's way also. So now I'll come back to my question. Why everything is hackable in such a scenario? Why can't we build such a technology where no one can hack it through no softwares or through no any coding also? So the reason for it is there are two things. First one is the radio communication. Radio communication is nothing but whatever you type, it's going through air. That is wireless is nothing but radio communication. It is converted into packets. So whatever is sent over a wire, if there is a wire, then nothing is hackable because your data is sent through wire. You cannot hack it. Anything which is going through air, that is radio packets, is 100% hackable. It is just like it is moving around you. You can't see it. But through softwares can see it, and through softwares, hackers can see it. For example, let us see if you type a hi message in WhatsApp or Facebook, how it travels to the server. Let's do a small demonstration. Just go to your command prompt, that is, go to your search, enter CMD. You'll get a black screen window as shown in the screen. Type tracert command as shown in the screen, TRACERT space any website name. In our case, we are using facebook.com. Click on it. So if I click on it, it shows the list of ways, that is the list of servers where my hi message or whatever I use Facebook through my device, how the message travels, how the data travels from my phone to the last Facebook server. As you can see, it has 30 hops, which means 30 servers. For example, the first server may be at Chennai, then it might go to Mumbai, then it might go to Dubai. Like that, it goes to the last Facebook server. And reverse again, when it is going back, suppose if you are sending a message to your friend, it will not directly go to your friend. So it will go to list of 30 servers. And how does it go? It goes through air itself. Now, how does it go through air? That is nothing but transmitters and receivers. So whenever you are using wireless communication, definitely it is hackable, because when it is moving around air, anyone can sniff it or anyone can access it through softwares. So that is the biggest disadvantage. If you are sending it through wire, then it is totally safe. That is the reason we say internet is hackable, because you cannot prevent it. Whatever you do, you have to send it over air. You cannot send anything in air where no one can access it or no one can see it. So that is one of the reason for why everything is hackable. The second reason is protocols. What are protocols? Can anyone answer me? Yes, Aditya?
Official language.
Set of rules to be followed.
Yes, set of rules. Now, what do we mean by set of rules is, set of rules is nothing but, for example, if I have to travel from Bangalore to Delhi, what are the ways where I can travel out? I can travel through road, I can travel through air, I can travel through bicycle, I can go by walking. There are lot of ways. Those ways are nothing but the set of rules, we can consider it. So the list of is like, there can be one protocol, two protocols like TCP, FTP, HTTP. Similarly, the total number of protocols are 65,535. Like FTP, HTTP, HTTPS, like these, there are totally 65,535 protocol, and there is no one company across the globe which has 65,535 security engineers. So if we have 65,535 security engineers, then we can at least safeguard it, 100% safety. So since these two are not possible, this is the main reason why everything is hackable. So from now on, if anyone asks you why this particular technology is hackable, the thumb rule, you can apply these two principles. If it uses radio communication, definitely. If it uses protocol, any one of the protocols out of 65,535, definitely. So without these two, impossible to do communication. Clear with this? Any doubts on this? Yes, some you people have raised your hands. You can just unmute yourself and ask me if you have any doubts.
So which command did you use to open that command line?
That is CMD. Go to search and enter CMD.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I tried it for Gmail. Gmail.com. It's showing 8 places it's going.
Yes.
So from my group, then 110.235.228.1, and then it's going down.
Right.
In various 8 steps.
Yes, it will take time. It will be displayed. Those also. Those are nothing but the IP addresses. So it means that if you are using Google, that is or Gmail account, so your packets will travel from your system to Gmail server between these servers. That is what
Okay,
it
so
means.
it's traveling from 8 places.
Traveling
According
through
to
8 places.
this.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
That is what it means.
If our messages are encrypted, for example, WhatsApp says its messages are end-to-end encrypted, then it is not possible to hack these messages.
Yes, to one extent, because WhatsApp's encryption technology is a very unique technology. In order, we can even hack that, but that is a different methodology, because for that we have to have a root access of any phone. We call it as routing or jailbreaking and all. I'll come to that concept. It's a bit of advanced concept. I'll come back to it in the session itself.
So,
yes.
Sir, you
Today
told we'll use. Sir, you told that we'll use some ready-made softwares, right?
Yes.
So what if we do? I mean, block those ready-made softwares? Can we do something like that?
Yes, we can do. That's why we have to do scripting and coding. You can do that also.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then that cloud DNS and all are that places through which our radio communication is transferring.
Yes.
Okay. And sir,
So
you talked
anything,
about
basically anything wireless. It may be your Bluetooth, it may be your IoT, it may be anything which is not wired. It's hackable. That is nothing but radio communication.
sir, you talked about white hat hackers and gray hat and black hat. What about red
Yes.
hat?
Yes. I think your voice got cut.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Sir, I was asking that you talked about white hat, gray hat, and black hat.
Yeah.
What about red hat hackers?
Now Red Hat technologies, there is different. There is one concept, there is one differentiation called Red Hat and blue, red team and blue team, which is called as like nothing but black and white. Like one team is for attacking, one team is for defending. And what you're talking about, Red Hat, is an operating system in Linux. Linux has actually two kind of operating system. One is known as YUM based, YUM, that is Yellow Dog Update Manager, and one more is APT based. So among that, Red Hat is one among them. So that is a different concept itself. That's a different operating system concept.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you were using some softwares to hack, so there must be a lot of antiviruses that have already prepared for such hacks.
Correct. Yes.
So Windows Defender can't protect against such hacks.
Yeah, if that's what, if we are today, if you are buying Windows Defender, it can detect only till yesterday what and all viruses are present. So tomorrow, if there is any new virus, it will not. That is the reason every week you get updates in Windows.
So the software you used, so you disabled Windows Defender first, and then you used.
Which one? Yes.
Okay.
But there are a lot of other softwares which can be performed on it. So to show a demonstration, I did this here.
So like this, can we hack into any private password or any such thing also?
Can you repeat your question?
Yes, sir. Like this, we hacked into Windows using some software. So similarly, can we hack into any Wi-Fi passwords or any such things?
Yes, the whole system itself can be hacked.
Okay.
Anything.
Sir,
yes, sir.
For hacking, we need different special Wi-Fi adapters.
Yes,
but
that is for only Wi-Fi hacking, not for all type of hackings.
And are Macs also unsafe?
Yes, Mac is also unsafe. There is a software called, I'm not remembering it, Mimikatz. There is another software called Mimikatz. You can hack Mac also. I'm not remembering the exact name. I think it is Mimikatz.
So by the Wi-Fi catcher present on the laptop, can we do hacking?
Because we can do anything, sir. Adapters are used for hacking Wi-Fi networks, not other things.
Sir, how can we read cookies?
That is different concept, sir. I'll come back to all those concepts. So since this is an introduction one, I'll tell you what exactly. If you're all your questions, I'll take these kind of questions I'll take up after the session. So since others are waiting for the remaining part, let's finish off with that. Then we shall move it out. So we shall move on to the next concept. Now you know what exactly is hacking and all. Now comes the concept called cyber security. You knew what is hacking, is everything hackable, why everything is hackable, types of hackers also. Now the question is cybersecurity essential? Yes, obviously. Everyone will tell now cybersecurity is essential. Similarly, cybersecurity is not a separate domain or separate technology. It is just like mathematics. How you use maths in physics, chemistry, and even in like accountancy, everywhere, day-to-day life. Cybersecurity is such a technology where it is used in all other technology, because everywhere you have to do coding, everywhere you have to do programming. There is no technology without programming. So that is the reason if you're learning web development, cybersecurity comes into picture. If you're learning AI, cybersecurity comes into picture. If you're learning machine learning, cybersecurity comes into picture. So wherever you use programming, wherever you use coding, there is cybersecurity. That is the reason cybersecurity is such an essential technology where it can be used in any kind of technology. So then what are the skills required for cybersecurity profession? So, and this is nothing but there are two questions can be answered with the same answer. That is how to bridge the gap between campus and company placements also. What exactly the company people expect, what exactly a cybersecurity profession requires. So in colleges, usually you learn coding in normal standard books. That is, you refer a standard book or a standard course or anything. Learn programming in up to standards level. That is, learn the programming in standards way, then go to the scripting. You have to be capable of scripting any program. That is required in order to enter an industry. Next is learn networking. That is, we call it as computer networks. That is 1 and 2 part, because you need to know which protocol. Can anyone tell me the ping command is under which protocol? Am I not audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Sir,
ICMP.
Audible.
Yeah. So ping is an protocol of ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. You should. It is obvious that we cannot by heart or we cannot be expert in all the 65,535 protocols. But at least whichever technology we are using, we need to know which protocol. For example, YouTube, which protocol? It is UDP. WhatsApp, which protocol? It is XMPP. Facebook, which protocol? If you are using Gmail, which protocol? You should know all these things. That is what is the things which are required for a cybersecurity profession. So then how to start with cybersecurity? So this is the roadmap for starting your cybersecurity career. First, you should be a curious mindset. It's not necessary you should know any programming or anything, because there are students who have come from non-technical background as well as mechanical, civil, and who have turned out to be excellent hackers. So first thing is you should be curious enough. Then you should be an expert script kiddie. Expert script kiddie in the sense you should know all the softwares which are present, which is used for hacking in today's scenarios. You should be an expert script kiddie. Then you should be expert in scripting. That's in order to be expert in scripting, you should be an expert in programming. You should be expert in programming in standards. Then you should be an expert in scripting the programming language. Next comes the concept of CTF, which means capture the flag. So this is a scenario which is used for recruiting, especially cybersecurity professions. For example, what they do in your interview is they will not ask you where are you from, whether you are being graduated, what is your mark, where are you from, whether you are being graduated, what is your experience or anything. Not exactly.
You are not audible.
Experience or anything. Am I audible?
Yeah. You are. It was someone's mic got open and the disturbance. You can continue.
Fine. Great. So what exactly happens in an interview? They will not ask you to write a program. They will not ask you to execute any program or anything. What exactly is, they give you something called machine. We call VM machine, virtual machine, and they will ask you to get the user credentials. That is the username and password. They will not give it to you. You should do like treasure hunt. You should try various trial and error methods and find it out. We shall look into this demonstration. Now, what exactly is the CTF part? So let me open a machine. So this is a machine. So now that's all they will give you in your interview. They will ask you to solve this machine. Solve this machine in the sense you have to get the root access, the username and password. They will give you 24 hours time or 3 hours or 6 hours time. If you do within that, then you are selected. If you don't do within that, you are not selected. So now in order to solve that, you have to have the skill set. So now what exactly is the skill set is nothing but I'll show you what exactly is the process which we carry out. How we shall find out the username and password of that particular machine. So for that, you need to have an operating system called Kali Linux. Using Kali Linux, by using some commands in a hacker's way, we will find the username and access. That is the password. So let me load the Kali Linux operating system. It will take some couple of seconds. I will enter the commands in the notepad section also, and I'll explain it to you, what exactly each command does. So it's a bit of above the head concept, but I'm just showing it to you to make you aware of what industry expects. By the time you go to placements or by the time you attend any job interviews, you have to be capable of doing this in order to get a cybersecurity jobs. After this, I'll speak on the packages, what exactly is the trends which is running in the industry. So the first command what I'm using here is called net discover. So what it will do is it will find out whichever online systems or whichever the systems which are surrounding this particular machine. Because since I said everything is wireless, I can't see it or we can't see it through our naked eyes, but softwares can see it. Certain programs can see it. If you enter that particular command, you can see here it shows so many systems are available. It shows the IP address, the MAC ID also. So I will choose which is the odd one among the because the rest I know which are the systems which are surrounding. Which I don't know is the present IP address of the virtual machine. So once I know that IP address of that machine, so next I'll do a process called port scanning. That is using a command called nmap. So I'm just entering this particular command, which I'm entering in the notepad, same thing in the command prompt. Once I enter that, it will do the list of ports, it will do the process of port scanning, and it will show me which are the ports which are opened or not. Through the ports, I can go and access it. So once I enter that command, as you can see, it shows me the results saying that certain number of ports are opened. So as you can see here, TCP, SSH, you have an access here. You can do an FTP login. FTP login is allowed. Now I will enter it. Before you didn't know anything. So this is how I did a trial and error. But how I did a trial and error method, because I had an expertise, I have a skill set. You should develop this particular skill set. How to develop it, I'll come back to that. So now the next command is enter it through the FTP. So this is the command for entering it through FTP port. So next I'll go to the machine. I will enter it in the command prompt. Then I will get the FTP access. So as you can see here, the login is successful. So next, what I need to do, I have entered into FTP. Now I should find out what is in FTP. In the port, what exactly is in FTP? So the next command is, that is ls. These are all basic Linux programming commands. If you don't know, don't worry. If you learn Linux programming, automatically you'll get to know it out. So I found out the list of files. As you can see here, there is a file called backup in FTP port. So I'm just entering the backup file now. I'm just opening it and looking into it because it might have the username and password. So I'm doing just like a treasure hunt. Using one clue, I am going and finding the other one. Once I get other clue, I go in progressive way, I reach the answers. So as you can see, the username is Sunset and this is the password, but it is in encrypted form, not in a plain text. So now what I should do decryption. So how to do decryption? I will enter another command through another tool called John or Hashcat. So I'll just copy this particular whole text, that is the password, which is encrypted. So let me just maximize it. So once I enter this particular command now, that is John hash. So Once I click on it, so it will be decrypting and it will show me the password. The password is as shown in the screen now. John hash show. As you can see, the password is QWERTY. So let's see whether this particular username and password works or not. Just go back to the machine, enter this particular username and password. So if you do this particular process and arrive at the machine, then you are recruited, or else you are not recruited. That is all in cybersecurity. So this is how it shows. Let me zoom it out. So this is where it is nothing but the machine is solved. This is known as CTF. So you have to have this particular skill set. Now, in order to have this particular skill set, you should undergo any training, which is like you can go up to any global body certification programs. But usually global body certification programs, I'll tell you what exactly is the costing, what exactly would be the results, what exactly would be the consequences also. So there are two global bodies. One is known as EC Council, which is a traditional global body. So if you are, there are around 23 courses which is related to cybersecurity itself, like CEH, that is Certified Ethical Hacking, CHFI, Certified Hacking Forensic Investigator, LPT, Licensed Penetration Tester, etc. So if you do this particular course, you can get a package of 3 to 5 lakhs per year. But this has turned out to be an outdated course. It was once upon a time in a great demand during 2000 to 2010 because it was just the beginning. Now, because this exam, it has been outdated, is the reason is the examination is in multiple choice format. So anyone can take it, anyone can mug it up, and end of the day, they can clear it out. But there is another global body called SANS, as shown in the screen. If you crack those certifications, your minimum package will be 16 lakhs. How do I say that minimum package is 16 lakhs? You can take out any company policies and see it. A SANS certified person will get a minimum package of 16 lakhs. It's just like a distinction. How a PhD holder should get a 7th pay commission salary itself. Same way, this is also. So it's a distinction. Any company you go, they will not ask you your degree, they will not ask you your experience. Even if you are fresher, your package starts from 16 lakhs in today's scenario. So now, if you have to take up a EC Council course, you have the minimum fees for any courses, it will range from 30,000 to 50,000. If you are taking a SANS course, the minimum costing would be 3 lakhs to 7 lakhs. Any course you take it out. In SANS, one more thing is if you just clear it out, you will get a 16 lakhs package. Just like an academic distinctions we have, it may be called FCD, like first class distinctions or anything. There is some distinction in SANS certification also called coin holders. So if you are a coin holder in it, either you'll get 2 calls, one from the terrorist organization or government agencies for sure. And if you are done with the coin holder, by default, the foreign universities will call you for tutoring, because all the cybersecurity tutors in any one of the reputed universities are nothing but SANS certified people itself. SANS certified all over the globe, if you take, there are only 10,000 people. In India, you take, there are only 1,000 people. So this is the trend in cybersecurity. If you go to any company, there is a new designation also called CRO, which means Chief Risk Taking Officer. The person's job is to just find out, because there is no one technology which is 100% cyber proof, or what we say, which is free of hacking. So it's just like a human body which has thousands of diseases. So, but certain diseases should be treated on priority. For example, if you have cancer, it should be treated very immediately. So how do you take up that call? Because if you are a doctor, similarly, the CRO is like a doctor itself. He will decide which disease or which vulnerability has to be addressed at what time. That's a new designation called CRO, is nothing but a purely cybersecurity professional. So when you go to placements, placement happens on 3 domains. That is, one is on operating systems, one more is on database, and third one is on programming. So these are the, there are totally 7 layers in any company. So if you know anything among this, you'll be placed. So you are an option for the company. So cybersecurity comes into the 7th stage, that is networking. So if you want to go to like decision-making jobs or a hierarchy jobs with a high package salary, you have to go with this particular cybersecurity skill set itself. Now, suppose if you think you cannot afford EC Council courses or SANS courses, I would suggest you, one is don't at all go to EC Council courses because it has turned out to be an outdated course. No company people will entertain it out. So you can just visit our website, that is reverseengineeringinfosec.com or reinfosec.com. So we have certification courses in various technologies in terms of cybersecurity, like cybersecurity in AI, cybersecurity in ML, lot of like this. So for a beginner point of view, we have a course called, if you just go to all courses, you can go to all courses column, and there is a course called PEH, that is Professional Ethical Hacking course. So I think I'm facing a network issue. Oh, I think most of you have visiting the site. That's the reason it is due to a lot of traffic, it has been down. Yeah, just if you go to all courses, there is a course called PEH, Professional Ethical Hacking course. I'll be sharing you the link in the comment section also. So you can take this course. There we will show you, it's around of 17 modules. So each module you can get to know of each technology. It will give you a complete introduction, and also there is an examination which will show you, you can even see how to solve such machines. So you will get even certified also if you clear it out. So you can take up these courses. It's a nominal fee. We are charging around 3,500. So you can just check out on it. So now coming to the last part of our webinar, that is applications of cybersecurity. This I have already said you, that is application is, it is applicable into all technologies like machine learning, AI, development, network, data analytics, anywhere you take, because anywhere there is coding, anywhere there is programming, there is loopholes, that is vulnerabilities. So it will be exploited. It should be protected. So cybersecurity will come into that picture. So now, before concluding, we shall do a list of demonstrations. There is the practical demonstrations. The first thing is how to check whether your email is hacked or not. To find out whether your email ID is hacked or not. So go to the URL, that is your browser, and go to the website, have I been pawned, as shown in the screen. Go to the website and click your email address. So let me try with my email address. So click on pawned, so it will show whether this email ID is hacked or not. So let me enter my personal email ID or another email ID and click enter. So it shows it has been breached in 142 sites. It will show you all the details also. Please check your email ID also, whether it is hacked or not. 99% of your email IDs are hacked. So this is the proof to tell whether your email is hacked or not. So similarly, if you want to find out whether your phones are hacked or not, just go to the dial pad option. That is your dialing option, and enter the command *#62#. Click on *#62# and click enter. That is your calling button. That's a green button. Once you do that, it will show you whether your calls are being forwarded or not, whether your SMSs are being forwarded or not. So you can check it out whether your phone is hacked or not. So next way is similarly to find out whether your Facebook account is hacked or not. Just go to your Facebook account. In that you have an option called settings. I'm entering it in the notepad also. Just go to settings options. In settings, you have an option called account settings again. In account settings, you have an option called download your copy. Once you click on download your copy, a file will be downloaded to your email address. So it shows where and all your particular Facebook account was accessed. So through that, you can verify that whether it was you who accessed it or not. This is the way of verifying Facebook accounts. So the last one is how to check whether your laptop is hacked or not. So in order to do that, just open the command prompt by going into start and entering CMD. Once you click on CMD, you get a black screen window. Enter netstat, NETSTAT. I will enter the same command even in the notepad. Once you click on it, you will get the list of connections connected to your system. So let me show you. So here I have list of connections. Ignore 127.0.1. That is localhost. By default, Microsoft will give it out. Don't worry on that. Other than 127, the list of IP address which has been shown here in my system, for example, all the IP addresses, the first bit of the IP address should be the same. For example, in my case, it is 192. So all the IP addresses are starting with 192. So if there is any IP address which is starting from any two different numbers, then it means that your system is hacked. Ignore 127 also, 127.0.1, 0.0.1. So this is the way of checking whether your system is hacked or not. Now, to check whether if any link or attachments which you get is a genuine or not. You get a certain link saying that you have won a lottery or you have been selected as a lucky draw winner or anything. So when you get any link, just go to the website virustotal.com as shown in the screen and just paste the particular URL. Or if you have an attachment file or anything which you get in your email, just download it, don't open it, and just upload the file in this particular site. It will show whether it is a virus file or not. So kindly do all this particular demonstration to check, because these are all the things which every person, every common person uses it in his daily life. So I think by this we can conclude our session. So we can take up any queries whichever you have.
So, yes, sir, we have come to the end of the meeting today. So, guys, if you have any queries, you're free to ask them now. Guys, if you have no queries, then we can wrap up with the meeting today. Yeah, somebody is raising their hand. You can speak.
Yes. Yes, go on. One by one, you can start asking your question. Lalit, you can go on asking me.
Actually, their mics have been disabled. So, we'll enable them right now and they can
Oh,
speak.
okay. Sure, sure.
Yes, sir.
You can either enable it or even you can enter it in the comment section.
There's no comment section here, I guess. We'll do it, sir. We'll do it just right now.
Okay.
So that they
No
can
issues.
speak.
So yeah, Yash Kumar, you have asked saying that where to start with the cyber security. First thing is you can directly visit our website and take up our course, which will cover it from the scratch. Even if you don't know anything, also it will show from the list, like from the OSI layers, what exactly is hacking, what are script kiddies, everything. You can just visit our website and take up our course called Professional Ethical Hacking Course. I'm just sharing you the link in the comment section, reverseengineeringinfosec.com. I have just shared my link. You can just visit link of our website. So you can just visit our website and take up our courses. So I've shared you even the course link also. You can just visit it over it. So any other questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask me, or you can enter it in the comment section also. Please upload
Guys,
the
the comment
PPT.
section
Sure,
is available.
I'll be sharing the PPT with Tanmay. So I think he can share it with all of the participants. Where can we find the list of tools of Script Kiddies? That is, again, you have to go on exploring it. So that's the reason you can take up like courses, which is on our website. We have covered all the Script Kiddie tools. What website was showing you as hacked? So that was nothing but Have I Been Pawned site. Ayush, I think, was the person who asked me the question. So you can visit the website Have I Been Pawned. It will show you whether your email ID is hacked or not. Just enter the email ID in that particular site. Any other questions you can ask me? Yeah, Harsh has asked me, is it because it is rooted? It's just an incomplete question. Can you just elaborate your question? Which one are you asking for, rooted or not? So there is another question. So is the course paid or for free? So it's obviously a paid course. My phone is showing invalid MMI. So you can enter the code *#21# in such case, if it shows invalid MMI code. So blogs to read about all this stuffs. There are plenty of blogs which you can read it out. I would suggest you to practice it out with hands-on. At least download Kali Linux operating system in worst cases and practice out with the tools. So many OS, how could I access at the same time? That is nothing but a VMware virtual machine or virtual box. You can use it. My email ID is showing pawned. What should I do? First thing is, please change your passwords. Have a strong password. What are the prerequisite knowledge which we need to know before starting this course? You don't have to have any prerequisite knowledge, because if you are curious enough, you can take up the course. We are covering it from the scratch. While downloading the file.
There was a doubt from my side.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, आपने वो बोला था अगर फाइल में वायरस रहेगा तो उसको डाउनलोड कर लेने का, फिर अपलोड, उसको ओपन नहीं करने का।
हाँ।
और फिर वो अपलोड करके चेक करने का। बट while downloading it, won't it affect our device?
Again, yeah, I cannot. It's not like 100% for all the viruses, but certainly to some of the, like if a person is using some script kiddie virus, automatically this virus total website will not be harmed unless you open it. But if you write such a complicated virus on your own, then probably even it might harm out. Just by downloading the file, nothing will happen. Even if you have APK in your phone, it will not be hacked. If you run the APK only, it will be hacked. Because if you don't have internet connection, no viruses can work. So if you take off the internet connection, all the systems are safe.
Sir, it is showing pawned in 2 data breaches and found no paste. So what does this mean? Oh, no pawned.
Your voice is not audible. Can you be a bit louder?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is showing that pawned in 2 data breaches.
Yeah. So what is your question?
Yes, sir. It is showing pawned, and it is showing that you have been pawned in 2 data breaches.
Yes, which means from two sides your email ID is being hacked. That is what it means.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello.
And
Yes, sir.
how
Can I
does the
get the all
site knows
recording of
about
this
this?
session?
One at a time, please.
Can I get the all recording of this session?
Yes,
Or
you
a
can ask
PPT?
the
Yes, it will
coordinators.
be.
They
It will
I
be
think they will
given.
give it
The
out. Yeah.
Okay,
Aditya,
okay.
I think you are the one who are asking it out.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah. How does the site know about which
Because it
Gmail
is a
ID is hacked?
darknet site. Again, now since this is a 1 hour session, I couldn't explain on darknet and deep web concepts. That's the reason.
Okay.
If you go through our course, even you'll cover all those things also, darknet and deep web. How exactly is this particular site genuine? Why it
Excuse me,
shows
sir.
us? Yes, sir.
Sir, how to remove
if
my?
we are
It's
using
showing my pond from Vedantu. How to remove it?
You cannot remove it. First, change your password. Automatically, it will be removed.
Sir, in my email, it is showing that a pond in one data breach and found no pastes. So
Yes, sir.
what does that mean?
Kindly, yeah, that means you are being hacked in one particular site. So change your passwords.
Excuse me, sir.
And
Yes,
if we
sir.
are using our email ID on this website, won't it
Yeah.
be found? Means
How
breached?
can it be harmed? Your email ID you are using. You are not using password there. You are just entering the email ID, not password.
तो बाकी जगह से कैसे ब्रीच आउट हो जाता है? वहाँ पे भी तो
आपने
अपना ओरिजिनल पासवर्ड
आपने
यूज नहीं करते।
you might have while using your banking transactions or anything, you might have used your email ID somewhere else.
वैसे
Any
तो
other
मतलब मेरा
site while
दिखा नहीं
using.
रहा है, मतलब मेरा तो सेफ ही दिखा रहा है।
हाँ, सेफ है तो सेफ ही है, हैक नहीं है।
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ सर।
सर लाइक आपने बोला कि वो डार्कनेट वेबसाइट है, तो इफ इट इज
डार्कनेट वेबसाइट
डार्कनेट,
नहीं है, वो एक साइट है जो डार्कनेट की इंफॉर्मेशन से बनी है।
ओके ओके
डार्कनेट साइट आप एक्सेस ही नहीं कर सकते।
ओके सर, मेरा
Excuse me,
क्वेश्चन
sir.
था।
Yes, I think you can finish your question, then I'll take up the another person's question.
सर आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन दैट कि कौन सा काली मतलब सॉरी लिनक्स ओएस सही रहेगा डुअल बूट के लिए, मतलब बेस्ट रहेगा लाइक कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग
अगर आप साइबर सिक्योरिटी सीखना है तो काली लिनक्स से बेटर है।
लाइक मैं ये कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग के लिए भी सोच रहा था, तो
वो उबंटू ही बेटर है।
ओके ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, what is SGLH ransom attack?
Can you repeat it?
SGLH ransomware attack.
Ransomware is nothing but just like a virus. So when that particular virus is affected into any system, the whole system files will be encrypted. You cannot decrypt it. So in order to decrypt it, you have to pay them ransom. That is money.
Okay. Except this, we don't have any other option.
No way. Other than that, you have to be an expert scripting person where you can decrypt it.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So when it is showing that we have been pawned, so is it that our data has already been compromised?
Yes, obviously.
All the data.
Yes, obviously. No one is gonna just log into your account and see whether it is logged in and they log out, right? Whatever is there, they will take and go. That is how it is.
So why don't they change our passwords?
Obviously, you should change your passwords. No one others can come and change your passwords.
Because our data is breached.
Yes.
So can you once again say how to check whether our mail ID is pawned or not?
So go to the website, have I been pawned, and enter your email ID. It will just give you the result.
Which website, sir?
Have I been pawned? Go to Google and enter HAVE, have I been pawned, PWNED.
Sir, suppose I was pawned earlier and after that I have changed password. But after changing the password, will it still show you have been pawned? Suppose in 2010 I was pawned and in 2011 I have changed my password. So in 2020 it will show
Sir, once you change the password, you should be updating. Even they will not stop. This hacking was not happened in 2010. They will do it 24 hours by 7, 24/7. You should be
Okay, sir.
changing your password. They don't have any season or any any calendar, so that only during that time they'll be doing hacking.
No, that's correct. But this data will be old or new, means you haven't pawned after that, means in total it is showing.
Yeah, then it means you have not hacked after that. That's all.
Okay,
So, sir,
okay.
if I change my password now and check the website
Check
again,
it.
so it will
Check it, sir. Check it. Then you'll only get the result.
so it will show that no pawns.
Yes, sir. Don't believe whatever I say. Believe whatever it shows there.
Sir,
Excuse me. Yes, ma'am.
sir, could you tell again how to check the phone?
Phone similarly, ma'am. Just go to dial pad, enter the command *62#. I'm sharing the notepad commands also with the PPT.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. That was a great session. We'll be hoping to see you in the next session too on 24th, part 2 of this workshop. So there, more queries can be cleared as we have already extended this workshop by half an hour. So we'll be ending it now for other sessions also to get carried forward. So that's all for the day, guys. Thanks a lot, sir, for being with us,
Most
for
welcome,
sharing
ma'am.
your knowledge. And it's a